If you're self-employed, congratulations. You now have to pay tax payments every quarter of the year. Our Uncle Sam will pay you a visit to drop off interest and penalties. I myself have to pay quarterly tax payments, and here at LYFE Accounting, we help business owners pay theirs. So don't worry. In this video, I'm gonna break down quarterly estimated tax payments in an easy to understand way so you pay on time and pay the right amount. And today, we're going over the following. What are quarterly tax payments? Who has to pay quarterly tax payments? When to pay quarterly tax payments? How to calculate quarterly tax payments? How to pay quarterly tax payments? And what happens if you don't pay your quarterly tax payments? Note that this is educational information, and for guidance or advice specific to your situation, you should consult with your tax or legal counsel. All right, ready to dive in? Before we get started, go ahead and like this video for me to let me know you're pumped. And as a bonus, it helps others find this video on YouTube. And subscribe if you like to see videos that help you save on taxes. Okay, let's get started with what are quarterly estimated taxes. Quarterly estimated taxes, also known as estimated payments, are taxes paid every quarter to the IRS by those who are self-employed or those who do not have withholding tax taken. This differs from a typical employee, as most employers withhold employee income taxes for them. Okay, let's dive a bit deeper into who has to pay quarterly taxes. In general, if you don't get taxes withheld from your earnings and expect to owe at least $1,000 in taxes, you have to pay quarterly taxes. This is typical of the self-employed, as there is no employer to take out taxes for them. You are considered self-employed if you run a business by yourself, part-time or full-time, if you're an independent contractor, or a member of a partnership that does business. But quarterly tax payments can also apply to anyone who receives additional untaxed income, such as the following: dividends, business distributions, alimony, significant investment income, or large capital gains. You don't have to pay estimated taxes for the current year if you meet all three of the following conditions. You have no tax liability for the prior year, you are a U.S. citizen or resident for the whole year, and your prior tax year covered a 12-month period. So be sure to check your previous year's tax return to see if you are required to pay. All right, let's move on along and talk about when to pay your quarterly tax payments. Quarterly estimated tax payments are to be paid 4 times a year. The first quarter deadline is April 15th. The second quarter deadline is June 15th. The third quarter deadline is September 15th. And the fourth quarter deadline is January 15th. Note that you can make payments early if you would like to. If it's easier for you to pay before each deadline or break the payments up into 12 payments instead of 4, feel free to do so. Just make sure your payments are made before each deadline to avoid penalties and interest, something we'll discuss later in the video, so stay tuned. Now, here's how to find out how much you have to pay in quarterly taxes. The first and easiest way is to simply divide your tax liability from the previous year by 4. The benefit of using a tax company like LYFE Accounting to file your taxes is that not only do you generally pay a lot less in taxes, but your estimated taxes are calculated automatically for you. Alternatively, you can estimate your tax liability based on what you've earned thus far in the year and compute your estimated taxes on a quarterly basis. If you need help with this, you can follow a worksheet provided by the IRS to walk you through it. Okay, now that you know how to calculate your quarterly taxes, let's discuss how to pay your quarterly estimated taxes every quarter. You can bet that the IRS makes it super easy to pay your taxes. Here are your choices. You can pay online at irs.gov/payments. This is the easiest way to pay. You can also send estimated payments by mail with Form 1040-ES. All right, the moment we've all been waiting for. What happens if you fail to pay your quarterly estimated taxes? First and foremost, you'll have a large tax liability that you'll be responsible for paying. In addition, you will have to pay interest and penalties on the underpayment of your estimated taxes. If you don't pay your tax liability in full by the deadline, the IRS has the ability to assess a penalty of 0.5% per month on the balance unpaid. Now, there are situations where the penalty can be waived. Here are those situations. The first is that you owe less than $1,000 or you're withholding an estimated taxes paid or at least 90% of the current year's tax liability or 100% of the prior year's liability, whichever is smaller. The second way it could be waived is that the failure to make your estimated payments was caused by a casualty, disaster, or other unusual circumstance, and it would be inequitable to impose the penalty. The last way is if you're retired after reaching age 62 or become disabled during the tax year for which estimated payments were required to be made in the preceding year, and the underpayment was due to reasonable cause and not willful neglect. Well, there you have it. Everything you need to know about quarterly estimated tax payments. As a recap, here are the key takeaways you need to know. First, quarterly taxes, also known as estimated payments, are taxes made every quarter to the IRS by those who are self-employed or those who do not have withholding tax taken. Secondly, quarterly tax payments can also apply to anyone who receives additional untaxed income. Third, you can pay your estimated taxes online or by mail with Form 1040-ES. Fourth, the easiest way to calculate your estimated taxes is to divide your tax liability from the previous year by 4, something a tax professional would do for you. And lastly, if you do not pay by the deadline, you can be charged with penalties and interest on the unpaid balance, though there are waivers for certain circumstances. Hey, if you found this video helpful even a little bit, go ahead and smash that like button for me. And subscribe today if you want to see more videos that can help you save on your taxes. I'm Karan from LYFE Accounting. Until next time.